MPC3. It's a really polarizing issue for a lot of MPC users. You probably have a lot of questions like, will it break my workflow? Will it make me feel annoyed? Having upgraded in the last few months and taken the time to learn MPC3 and really sit through the new features and find out what I do and I don't like, I thought I'd make this video to help ease the process for some of you users who might be thinking of upgrading. I'm just going to go through the goods and the bads and some things that really matter to me. So let's jump in and have a look at them. Alright, it's time for a few of the things I really like about MPC3. The goods. Alright, I got to talk about it. The arrangement window. I think it's the best workflow change about the whole switch from MPC2 to 3. For people using a lot of external gear or tracking directly into the MPC, you want to do things like record tails or lead-ins, potentially 2 bars before or post the loop that you've got going. It was really frustrating in 2. You had to make a 6-bar loop, record the audio track, and then take that back down to 4 bars, but you would never really hear the tail until you were in song mode. It was just a mess. So for me, the arrangement window is just this amazing blessing in disguise, and I think Akai really smashed this one home. It's awesome. It's worth upgrading alone for just the arrangement window and the ability to sort of treat everything that's happening in MPC like a DAW. MIDI tracks, audio tracks, programs all sitting in one window where we can just access it and manipulate our whole song at a time if we really want to do that. Another big thing that I really like about MPC3 is the channel strips. Yeah, just being able to see the channel strips directly like that. I love being able to go over and hit sends and just see my sends there, see my submixes beside if I'm using submixes. Yeah, the channel strips is a really good increase in productivity for me, and just having the ability to skip out that really boring step that no one really likes doing, which is just pressing buttons and doing the same thing. Another thing I really like is the mixer tabs. Having the ability to see the pad mixes and the track mixes right there on the main window is just really great for me. Just quickly go in, pull something down if I want to, or quickly go in and add something on a pad, or yeah, just there are so many different uses for it, and I just really appreciate having that right there at the click of a finger. It's another one of those really little changes that they've made that I think are really important for us users who get a lot out of these like functional aspects of the software. It's all about our workflow flowing and it being this process that's easy and just going to places again and again that feel smooth and easy to get to, as opposed to diving through menus just to change particular things. They really listen to users on these ones, and I think it's really showing with some of these changes that they've made to our workflows. Another one I like is having the direct access to our samples right there in the main window. When I scroll through my samples on each pad, it shows me. When I hit the pad, it shows me each different sample, and I can jump straight into the edit functions of those samples, change the pitch, change the envelopes. It's just so much better than having to go back into the menu and hit program edit or sample edit, and just having it all there in the main window. It's just really awesome. The main window in general is just really functional and changes the workflow completely from MPC2. It just feels like a more mature version of the MPC software, and it just really feels like they listen to users on what they want. So I really appreciate all of that stuff being right there, and it's a big workflow change for me from 2 to 3. Audio tracks being in the main window is another massive win. Just having all of our tracks just in the same window and not having to page between MIDI and audio tracks is just so good. It's just really seamless and really simple, and it just changes the workflow so much more. It's so much quicker to work with audio tracks now, and just in general makes our quality of life better. Among many other things, there's a lot of upside to changing, and I can't really list them all here, but there are a lot of really good workflow changes. So for that, I think it's a win. Alright, it's time for a few of the things that I don't really like about MPC3. The bad. So MIDI. If MIDI is really important to you, then MPC3 will feel really frustrating. The MIDI implementation with MPC 3 is just really unreliable. So if you like to control lots of different gear using MIDI, or in turn you like to control the MPC using MIDI, the MIDI implementation when you're using MPC 3 can be all over the place. Some things work really great, like the MIDI learn functions are really good, and some things are really, really good, but then just other things, like really random things, break, and I can't describe it any other way than bugs. There's some serious bugs when it comes to any sort of MIDI implementation with the MPC 3 firmware. That brings me to a point about the bugs with the firmware. In true Akai style, they released a completely buggy mess, and a lot of people are really upset about that, myself included. I don't really like having to just wade through bugs. I'd prefer to have 50% less features and 0 bugs. Is what it is. There's bugs. You're gonna have to get used to the bugs because they're everywhere. And if that's really important, that you have a reliable piece of equipment, then yeah, I'd maybe think about steering clear. So I might be the only person in the world who used to love the looper on MPC2. I think it was a really amazing niche of the software, and a real miss for a lot of people who didn't really understand it particularly well. And I used it as a performance tool for 3 or 4 years. The looper in 3 is just downright broken. It's a mess. For some reason, they didn't change a single thing to do with the looper fundamentally. They just broke it. You used to be able to cue the looper and it begin directly on the beginning of a bar, but now we just have this free syncing looper that starts whenever it wants to. It was a massive, massive loss for me, and it's really sort of thrown my live performance world into a disarray. The time signature thing, like, I don't even understand. Do they expect people to just forget about the fact time signatures exist? Like, it's really strange. Lots of people making hip hop use 6/8, it's really common, and lots of people want to use other time signatures to make different types of music, and we should be able to do that using this piece of equipment. And no word from Akai about it at all. They don't even look like they're going to put it into the firmware in the first place. So if time signatures are really important to you and you can't live without them, then I honestly wouldn't upgrade. Yeah. Another big one is not having the desktop software. Now, MPC2 was, in my opinion, a broken mess anyway, and trying to use that was frustrating as hell. I didn't think it was really a great thing anyway, so I'm not missing it that much, not having the software. But if the MPC desktop version is something you really, really like to use and it's an integral part of your workflow, then again, this is the same thing. I wouldn't be upgrading just yet because we have no word about when MPC3 is going to have the desktop version available. I can't really list everything negative that I've found on the MPC3 firmware. I just wanted to touch on a few things that were really important to me. So the question, should you upgrade? Well, I know you really want me to tell you to upgrade or not, but I'm not going to do that. I think it really is up to you in the end and what is realistic for your setup and your preferences, and it's really about finding out what is important to you. Ask yourself the questions that you need to ask of what a workflow change would do to you in your creative process. Too many people out there keep promoting new, bigger, better, newer, faster, stronger. It's just gas at the end of the day. So don't give in to that. If what you're doing is working and you're happy with it that way, just go that way. Stay in your lane and do what's working for you. There are significant changes that I think improve the workflow, and there are also significant changes that I think hinder the old workflow I used to have. But you can do pretty much 95% of the stuff that you used to be able to do on 2, on 3. It's just a systematic change. That's all it is at the end of the day. It's like someone coming into your house, rearranging all of your cupboards, and then not telling you where anything is anymore. But eventually you're going to be able to figure it out because you know this software. I think if you're like me and you really like learning new things and learning new pieces of equipment, then it will be fun and exciting. And personally for me, learning the new firmware has opened up more doors for my creative process. And in my opinion, that opens up the possibilities for my art and my pieces of work. So many of us don't have a lot of time on our hands. We have families, we have jobs, we have a life outside of creating music, and we're not professionals. There are some professionals, but most of us are just hobbyists. And changing our workflow significantly takes a lot of time away from this small window that we have to create and do stuff. You will need to spend a lot of time adjusting to 3. Even if you're a long-term user, you'll have to spend time learning where everything is, figuring all of that out and getting the muscle memory to be able to use 3 like you did 2. I think the biggest thing you got to ask yourself is, do you have the time to switch? Like, do you genuinely have the time to be learning a new firmware and to feel frustrated learning something new, to feel like a noob again? Do you have that time? If you don't have that time, then maybe it's not right to upgrade. Just stick out with the old firmware and keep your Live 2 in 2. It's perfectly fine to just do that. If you like learning new things, if you like changing your workflow, then you'll be really excited about 3. In the end, I think everyone will be able to figure out the transition from 2 to 3, but at the end of the day, you can always downgrade. If it really threw you off that much and it changed your flow that much, just downgrade and go back to what was working. I think that's the most important thing. Keep doing what's working for you. So there you go. Should you upgrade to MPC 3? The ball's in your court. Like and subscribe for more videos like this on the MPC or just music production in general. And if you have an idea you want me to cover, leave it in the comments below and I'll get back to you. I'll make a video about it if it's interesting. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.